Hi and welcome to another presentation from your business tutor, learning your way, anytime, anywhere. One of the main issues that can affect how an employee feels about their job is the way in which it is designed. This is because with people having ever increasingly busy lives, many employees want a job that fits around their life. As such, one of the most important ways in which an organisation can motivate and retain staff is by offering flexible working practices, which this presentation will now explore in more detail. So what are we going to learn in this presentation? Well, first of all, we're going to find out what flexible working is. Then we're going to find out about different types of flexible working practices. And finally, we're going to discover the advantages and disadvantages of each flexible working practice. Okay, let's get started by asking, what is flexible working? To understand what flexible working is, it is probably best to first identify what it is not. Historically, people have been employed in a very fixed, inflexible way. They turn up at the office at 9 in the morning and work through till 5 in the afternoon, 5 days a week, Monday through to Friday. Flexible working, on the other hand, turns this situation on its head by giving employees control over where they work, when they work, and the number of hours they work. Obviously, giving staff flexibility has a number of general benefits, such as keeping staff motivated and helping to retain good staff who want more control over their job. In fact, under UK law, employees are legally allowed to request flexible working, which an organisation must investigate whether they can meet or not. This, of course, demonstrates how flexible working should operate, in that if an employee and an employer can work in partnership, the rewards from flexible working can be considerable. In so much that the employee gets what they want and the business also get what they want. For example, being able to open for longer hours as staff want to work at different times. So with that, let's move on to explore different flexible working practices available, and initially, let's find out what home working and teleworking are. One of the most commonly used flexible working practices is home working or teleworking. This is when an employee is allowed to work from home for some or all of the working week, but when doing so, must stay in contact with the office using an ICT link such as email or video conferencing. As you might expect, as teleworkers work mostly from home, they do not need a permanent desk in the office. Instead, should a home worker require to come into the office to complete some work, they have to book what is referred to as a hot desk in advance. Obviously, this type of flexible working offers a number of benefits. For example, employees like it as they can avoid having to commute to work, which for some people can save them a considerable amount of time. More than that though, because an employee is working from home, they may have the flexibility and time to drop off and pick up children from school or attend appointments during the day. From a business's perspective, offering teleworking also has benefits, as smaller, less expensive premises can be rented as some staff work mostly from home. More than that though, by giving staff flexibility over their job, a business will find their staff are more motivated and more likely to stay with the organisation. However, although home working offers a number of benefits, there are also a number of problems that can arise. For example, from an employee's perspective, working from home can be isolating, as they lose out on the social contact of working in an office. Worse still, if the ICT link between the office and the employee's home is not good, it can make communication and staying in touch difficult compared to face-to-face contact. This of course connects to another issue, in that an organisation will find it difficult to supervise and keep an eye on the quality of work an employee working from home produces if the ICT link is not good. Obviously, a business will want to avoid this problem, but in doing so may run into another issue, in that a considerable amount of money may need to be spent ensuring a reliable, high quality ICT link. Okay, now we've looked at home working, let's now turn to look at what Flexitime is. Flexitime is a way of working that allows an employee to control when they work the hours stated in their contract. In short, it gives an employee control over when they start and when they finish work each day. For example, an employee could start at 10 AM in the morning and decide to finish at 7 PM at night. However, although this offers significant flexibility, it needs to be remembered that all employees must be in work during what is called core hours. These are hours usually when the business is at its busiest or when cover is required for people taking lunches and breaks, when all staff need to be present so that the business is not understaffed. As you can imagine, Flexitime is popular with staff, as being able to control the hours you work means employees can avoid the congestion of rush hour traffic. But more than that, would have the flexibility to drop off kids at school or make appointments during the working day. However, and possibly even better than that, Flexitime allows an employee to work more hours at the start of the week, meaning when they get to the end of the week and they have completed their contracted hours, they can take time off. To the same degree, Flexitime is also popular from a business's perspective, as giving employees flexibility tends to motivate them and keep them loyal to the organisation. But also, if staff are coming in at different times, it may allow the business to offer extended opening hours to its customers. Nevertheless, Flexitime does have some issues. For example, when employees are working different hours, it can be difficult to schedule meetings and training events so that all staff can attend. Also, if the business is busy at an unexpected time, it may find that it is short of staff and that customer service deteriorates. And finally, if staff are working a range of different hours, it can create issues around the supervision of employees and the standard of their work. Okay, let's now look at Jobshare and find out what it is. Jobshare is a flexible working practice that allows 2 or more people to share a single job. For example, one person may work Mondays and Tuesdays, whereas the other person doing the job works Wednesdays, Thursdays and Fridays. As you'd expect, the people sharing the job split the pay and holidays in proportion to the days they work. This type of flexible working practice can offer a number of benefits. First, it is ideal for employees who do not want to work full-time. For example, those that have young families or those that care for elderly relatives. But more than that, it allows a business to retain good staff who, for whatever reason, do not want to work full-time hours anymore. A business further benefits because if one of the employees sharing the job is off or requires one of their days off or is on holiday, they can come to an arrangement with the other job sharer to provide cover where necessary. However, there are issues with job sharing, especially around how tasks are allocated or how ongoing issues are dealt with. For example, if there is not an agreement over who does what, this can cause resentment if one person thinks they are doing more than the other job sharer. Similarly, if there is not a crossover period when the job sharers can discuss what has been done, and what issues are still to be resolved, then things can be missed and tasks may not get completed by the deadline date. And obviously, as you may already have worked out, job sharing can fail dramatically if the two job sharers do not get on with each other. Okay, so what did we learn in this presentation? Well, first of all, we found out what flexible working is. We then went on to investigate the different types of flexible working practices, and then finally we explored the advantages and disadvantages of each of those flexible working practices. As has been shown, flexible working offers an employee and an organisation many benefits. However, these benefits only materialise when both are on board and agree on the flexible working method to be introduced. On the other hand, if flexible working is introduced by a business to meet organisational requirements only, it may in fact result in employees having to work unsociable hours that don't fit around their life. For example, late night shifts or 0 hours contracts where employees are only asked to work when the business needs them. Obviously, these types of flexible working are very one-sided and would not provide the same benefits as the methods we have looked at do.